Good morning. It's April 12th, 22. Year of our Lord. Making some tea here. Still making it. Can't drink it yet, unfortunately. Just gotta wait the 3 minutes. The Velvet Underground are kind of the greatest band ever, depending on how you measure the quality of bands. If what's important to you is originality, being ahead of your time, and consistency, the Velvet Underground are the single greatest rock and roll band ever. Because their first album, The Velvet Underground and Nico, came out in 1967. It was produced by Andy Warhol, recorded around his factory that would do the exploding plastic inevitable. It's in the radio. And it's one of the greatest albums ever recorded, and it's produced by Andy Warhol. I don't think Andy Warhol knows how to produce a record, but he gave them some sort of equipment, and they forced them to be with Nico, which I think is a great move, because Nico has such an austere, beautiful, like haunting voice that I love her vocals on some of these songs. I love some of Nico's solo material, but this pairing is just perfect. The trading off between Lou and Nico. Sunday Morning opens with amazing, just beautiful kind of chamber pop. Like, this chamber pop genre doesn't exist really for a few decades after this album comes out. Like a lot of the songs in this, the femme fatale genre just is starting to exist now. The sadomasochistic, like that. Anyway, we still haven't caught up to femme fatale. We still haven't caught up to the first record this band has recorded in terms of popular music. I'm Waiting for the Man. Amazing blues about meeting a dealer. Up to Lexington 125. Feels sick and dirty, more dead than alive. He's never early, he's always late. First thing you learn is that you always got to wait. I'm feeling so good, I'm feeling fine. Until tomorrow, I bet that's just another time. So good. Femme Fatale. Oh, this is an amazing song. I love Nico's vocals on this. I just adore this song. Femme Fatale, it's beautiful. Love the Big Star cover. A bunch of people covered it. They should. Venus and Furs, just Cale playing that viola in this insane, crazy way that he does even more insane on Black Angel Death Song later. But just this, like, strangling the violin sound with the shiny boots of leather, whiplash girl child in the dark. Taste the whip of love not given lightly. Taste the whip, now plead for me. It's about, like, priests, sadomasochistic sex rituals, homosexuality, S&M. This is 1967. The Beatles are putting out Paperback Writer. They're putting out Heroin. Do you want me to read the lyrics to Heroin? I know them. I don't know exactly where I'm going, but I'm going to try for the kingdom if I can, because it makes me feel like I'm a man when I put a spike into my veins. And let me tell you, things aren't quite the same when I rush and I'm on a run. And I feel just like Jesus' son. But I guess that I just don't know. Because when a needle in my vein connects to a center in my head, then I'm better off than dead. Instead of thinking about all these gyms in this town and everybody putting everybody else down and all the dead bodies piled up in mounds. Yeah, the Beatles are like, Hey Jude, Can't Buy Me Love. Same year. There She Goes Again. Nice pop. Nice little pop number. There she goes. I'll Be Your Mirror. I love this. It's a nice little Nico pop song. Lou already had this work ethic where he was like Tin Pan Alley songwriter type guy, just cranking out like hundreds of songs apparently. And Andy would just make him write even more. Andy would be like, I write a song every day, which he thought would be impressive to Andy Warhol. And Andy Warhol's like, why don't you write 5? Why don't you write? Andy Warhol, what are we gonna do with you? Oh yeah, that's right. Black Angel's Death Song, Crazy Cale. Just organ in your face, dark, insane lyrics. European Sun is the best. This is like, you get a peek of what they were like improvising, what they were like live. How they could get into these drony, dark, psychedelic jam spaces. This is the single furthest ahead of its time album ever recorded. 1967, Velvet Underground and Nico. Masterpiece. Their other records, their next record is my favorite record of theirs. I already reviewed it. It's White Light, White Heat. I can briefly review it. It's amazing. White Light, White Heat, The Gift, the story song. Sister Ray, one of the greatest songs ever. Yeah, watch the White Light, White Heat if you give a shit about me, but you give a shit about the Velvet Underground. Just hear me talk about their third album, which is just as good. Cale would leave. Cale was too crazy. Cale wanted to record their next album with underwater amps and just do like crazy psychedelic noise things, which Lou would later do with like Metal Machine music and stuff. But he wanted to just... Sterling Morrison's a great guitar player. Mo Tucker, fantastic drummer. He just wanted to make like great rock songs, which he proves with the self-titled. There's not a bad song on this record. Candy Says is a highlight. That's where they have the new guy from Boston, I forget his name, sings the vocal. What Goes On is one of their most rock out songs. Some Kind of Love, I adore the lyrics to the song. Pale Blue Eyes, amazing. Jesus, amazing. Beginning to See the Light. Wine in the Morning, Breakfast at Night. Think I'm beginning to see the light. Yeah. There you go again. Playing the fool again. There you go again. Acting cool again. Alright. Well, I'm beginning. Murder Mystery is like noise. It's like all the members talking. It's like a noise experiment. After Hours is lovely. I love Maureen Tucker's voice. Wish she sang more. It's a beautiful record, start to finish. I'm Set Free. The entire thing is just kind of like this cathartic, joyous, kind of druggy, but melancholic, but just beautiful rock and roll album. Without the grating craziness from the Cale influence, which I wish they'd made a few more albums with Cale, honestly, because I still think the first two albums are their best albums. But how can I? Because Loaded, like, look at the track list of Loaded. Who Loves the Sun? One of my favorite songs. Who Cares What It Does Since You Broke My Heart? Sweet Jane. Standing on the corner, suitcase in my hand. Cactus Jack is in a corset, Jane is in a dress. Me, I'm in a rock and roll band. Rock and roll. Turn it. Despite all the amputation, you could just turn to that rock and roll station and it was alright. I'll post the rock and roll station in the description. Cool It Down. Somebody's got the papers. Somebody's got the keys. New Age is a nice folky ballad thing. Head Held High is like a bluesy rocker. It's whatever. It's not the best song on the record, but it's nice. You get some nice piano, guitar, blues rock out. Lonesome Cowboy Bill is amazing. Still Ride the Rodeo. And all the 10-gallon girls love to hear him yodel, yo. He's the Lonesome Cowboy Bill. I Found a Reason. Great kind of pop in the vein of the third record, the self-titled record, Train Around the Bend, more of that bluesy, Head Held High. Just rock and blues. Oh Sweet Nothing. One of the greatest songs ever written. That's the last song on their album. So, after that, the Velvet Underground recorded some solo stuff without Lou, but who cares? There's only 4 Velvet Underground albums. There's only 2 of the original. But all 4 of them are 4 of the greatest records ever made. So how is that not the best band? They're further ahead of their time than anybody. They don't have one bad song. They have 4 records that are all distinct, completely distinct sounding, and for sure perfect 10 records. Like, you do not skip a song on any one of these records. They're amazing start to finish. No other band accomplished that level of consistency in rock and roll music. No other band aimed for that level of ambition in terms of being ahead of their time sonically, as well as lyrically, as well as production-wise, artistically. And then performing live, they were like the evil twin to the Grateful Dead. They would play these 20-minute dark drone jams instead of bliss jams. Anyway, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, 10 minutes.